e incominciamo con Anja Wersinga.
I have 3 points. I hope I can do that. The first one is that women's equal participation in democratic processes is not only a human right, but it's also very wise, since women are introducing other perspectives into the discussion and can counteract alternative forces which we don't want. That's the first point. The second point I take from a research paper from FRIDE, a research institute in Madrid, which says that it's extremely important to have this women's participation from the start. And they quote an example where the United Nations did not do this, and it gave the wrong message that this is the modern way, and so you don't have to include women. And up till today, the women in that country have difficulties to be included. I don't want to name the country, but I can tell you later. My third point is history. And I like to tell you about a book which is written by a Moroccan historian, and I've forgotten the name, but maybe my Moroccan persons can help me. And she describes 19 women who have been head of an Islamic state. And one example is Yemen, where there was for 40 years, a woman head of state. And she didn't take power, she was given power. She was a hostage of an alternative tribe, and her own tribe freed her and made her head of state. And when she died, her daughter became the head of state. Now, one of the things was that the Caliph agreed to this, and this woman was mentioned in the Friday prayers. Now, personally, I think those stories are fantastic stories to tell in our schools. And so I'll give you those stories, and maybe we could also tell them to our men who are making the constitutions. Thank you.
Azza Bogandora, docente all'Università Libica.
Hello, everyone. My name is Azza Bogandora. I'm a professor at the Libyan University. First of all, let me remind you that the story in Libya is a little bit different. The story was getting rid of a dictatorship. The story was having the freedom for the whole society, women and men. And now, after we achieve our goal, let me tell you that the women in my country played a big and a huge role in the changing which occurred in Libya now. After achieving our goal, what we're going to do as a Libyan, women and men, we will form some committee to vote or write the Constitution. This committee will be membered by men and women. So the women in Libya will be a part or participated or share in voting the Constitution. And this will assure that we will have gender equality. After voting the Constitution, we will address this Constitution to vote. And Libyan women will share in voting in this Constitution. And in period of 8 months, we will have our first political parties. You know, for about 50 years, Libya never had any political parties. I'm sure women will participate in these political parties. And in 8 months, we will see the first election for the Libyan parliament. I'm sure, too, that some women will be candidates for the Libyan parliament. In a period of 18 months, we will experience the first election for a president. Will some women run for the president? Let's wait and see the future. I'm saying maybe. Some women will do that. They will be actually the president? We will have to wait and see. Thank you for inviting us to share this conference. Thank you.
Cecilia Pirotta.
Grazie, signor Presidente. I just want to introduce an element into this equation, although the last speaker has made a reference to this. And this is the reference to the involvement of men when it comes to the diffusion, to having women act as real agents of change in all the sectors that we will be dealing with over these 2 days. Because I sincerely believe that we need to have men on board if we really want women to be empowered and to play a bigger role in all the spheres of society, really. I don't know whether there will be an opportunity for the panel members to answer questions, but I would like to have some experiences from our southern Mediterranean partners, particularly from the speakers from Algeria and Morocco, so they can share with us what their thinking is and how they think that the involvement of men can play a role in bringing about this change, because we spoke very much of solidarity between women. But I think we really need to go beyond that if we really need, or we really want to have a marked change in our society. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Zulla.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Les interventions de nos collègues algériennes et marocaines m'ont inspiré de réflexions au sujet de leur constitution et de la relation entre les constitutions et la représentation des femmes en politique. Je ne parle pas en tant que donneuse de leçons, mais en tant que rapporteur d'un rapport à l'Assemblée parlementaire du Conseil de l'Europe sur l'importance ou l'incidence du système électoral dans la présence des femmes au Parlement. Ce rapport a été établi suite à un rapport d'expertise fait par la Commission de Venise et par un avis donné de leur part, et je voudrais vous transmettre les conclusions. Il n'est pas suffisant dans une constitution d'introduire le principe de parité. C'est très beau, c'est l'exemple français, et l'exemple a montré, la pratique a montré que la parité constitutionnellement déclarée ne change pas les chiffres. Or, ce sont les chiffres que nous devons changer. Et donc, pour les constitutions nouvelles qui doivent être faites bientôt, il y a 2 principes à retenir. D'abord, le principe d'égalité qui permet seule la parité, mais aussi et surtout la possibilité d'action positive afin d'éviter qu'une loi qui introduirait les quotas puisse être déclarée anticonstitutionnelle pour être contraire au principe d'égalité. Voilà les bases constitutionnelles indispensables dans les nouvelles constitutions. Après, le reste est question de volonté politique et de législation, mais de législation non pas seulement sur les quotas, mais aussi et surtout sur les lois électorales. Parce que tout système électoral ne confère pas une efficacité pratique aux quotas. Et les conclusions du rapport que j'ai fait pour l'Assemblée parlementaire est la suivante. Il y a des systèmes électoraux, des lois électorales qui sont favorables aux quotas. Ce sont des systèmes électoraux basés sur le système proportionnel, avec des grandes circonscriptions, avec des quotas, mais pas n'importe quel quota, des quotas très précis quant aux modalités, c'est-à-dire le placement des candidatures sur la liste, mais aussi et avant tout avec des sanctions adaptées pour être efficaces. L'exemple pratique a montré que les sanctions financières ne changent pas les choses parce que les partis politiques préfèrent payer normalement plutôt que de mettre la parité. Donc la seule sanction indiscutable, c'est l'irrecevabilité des listes. Avec toutes ces recommandations institutionnelles, une dernière réflexion à notre collègue marocaine qui a développé ses visions sur les institutions ou les mécanismes d'égalité. Je ne veux pas lui prendre ses illusions, mais il ne faut pas perdre de vue qu'il y a une seule chose qui compte, c'est la volonté politique. La volonté politique, si elle n'existe pas, on peut avoir toutes ces institutions et qui ne foutront rien et qui ne changeront pas les choses. Et je parle en connaissance de cause parce que dans mon pays, le Luxembourg, où la directive européenne a imposé des institutions pour l'égalité, on les a toutes, mais elles sont condamnées à ne rien faire avancer parce que la volonté politique ne change pas. N'oublions donc pas que le moteur de tout changement, plutôt que les institutions, c'est la volonté politique et c'est celle-là qu'il faut favoriser. Merci.
Sabella.
Thank you. I want to pick up on a statement made by Mrs. Bergamini, which I think is also key to understanding the role of women. We tend to stress that men should be active agents also in changing the situation and overall conditions of women, especially in Arab and Muslim societies. But also we have to recognize that sometimes it is women themselves who really do not want to change, and that the system, the social system, makes women, whether by tradition or by the sheer fact of being in a position for a long time, in an inferior position in the patriarchal system, feel comfortable in that position. And maybe what we will see in the future, in the coming future, with Islamic parties taking over Libya and Tunisia and maybe Egypt as well, is that many of the women who really will become working, in fact, for these ideological religious parties, and they will be organizing to really promote these ideological parties, whether they are religious or political. So the challenge is what should be done in order to get women working on a different model, and to say we cannot continue this way if they choose not to continue this way. One other related challenge is that it is very comfortable to divide men and women into kind of a emotional sustaining role of women, mothers, wives, daughters, aunts, whatever, grandmothers, and so it is very sustaining. And to put men into the more wage-gaining activities, instrumental activities, so to speak. And how, if we are going to change the equation in Arab and Muslim societies, would that changing of the equation, would we go towards the European model, or would we more want to create our own model in Arab and Muslim societies? And I think the challenges are not simply constitutional challenges, but changing attitudes of women and men together, and in a sense, together, changing the traditional ways of dividing men and women roles, and yet creating a model society that is indigenous and in keeping with some of our traditions, and not really leaving these traditions out completely. Thank you.